Hey, that is, man, I love that intro. It is just. All right. Well, hey, everybody, and welcome to the regular season wrap up of the Scott Fish Bowl. It feels so weird to be saying that after week 11, but here we are. That's what we're doing. Um, well, we'll talk about the playoffs in a little bit, but if you know already, congrats. If you made it, better luck next year if you didn't. And right there with you, Scott. Right back at you. So I titled last week's episodes, I think we were okay, or like we were okay, I think. And I was wrong. My bad. Like I if it was me that jinxed it, I apologize. For all you people that roster Mark Andrews or Joe Burrow, that's on this guy. You can just fully say it is Russ's fault. But let's move on. Let's move over to some happy stuff. Let's talk about giving away some cool stuff. I did say last week I would open the bag and rearrange it so you could see it, but I didn't do that because I completely forgot about it. But I promise we do have a CeeDee Lamb signed jersey in here somewhere, and we do have the Funko Pop. And again, I am just embarrassed that these jerseys don't match, but they're both CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb is awesome. So let's find out who's going to win it, right? Let me put these back down. Let me share the correct screen. Present. Share screen. Random generator. Share. There it is. All right, and just remind everyone again how this works. That is not how it works, Bob. This is not one of those type in Lamb, and you get entered. Plus, I don't like you enough to let you win anything anyway. So don't worry about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this box. We're going to get an error message because it's a black check mark on a black background, but black just looks so sleek that we're not changing it. And then after I click away that error message, we're going to get a name down here, and that's going to be who wins. And I think it's going to be me this time. I think it's going to be me. We took a week off, but we are back to Jason Kramer yet again. Congratulations, Jason. You win the CeeDee Lamb. You know what? Maybe I won't send. Maybe I'll go and buy the here. This now this isn't signed. I'll send you the not signed CeeDee Lamb jersey and Funko Pop. You're winning too much. It's not fair. But we need more people to donate. That's really what it is. Jason is nice enough to have a weekly donation coming in, and if we want other people to win, we need more people to donate. And we still have some very, very good jerseys coming up. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But congrats again to Jason Kramer on winning the CeeDee Lamb jersey and Funko Pop. But let's get back to the slides and let's start talking about the top performers at the position. Welcome to the NFL, I guess. Welcome to the 2023 season, Trevor Lawrence. It took you long enough. That's all I could really think to say. But here we are, Trevor Lawrence, the top scoring player of the week, 32 passes, 24 completions, 262 yards, 4 total touchdowns. I think it was 2 passing and 2 rushing for 40.936 points. And to show you what kind of week this was, I think our lowest of the 4 top scorers last week had 38 points, and 40 is our highest scoring player this week. So yeah, the scoring was a little low this week. A lot of bye weeks were rough, and then just maybe some of our usual contributors didn't contribute to the point of which we needed them to. Notice CeeDee Lamb isn't on this list again, so we may have jinxed it. My bad on that one. But George Kittle, he had a really weird start to the season, but I think it's been since their bye week. He's been up here twice. He's been doing really, really well. 9 targets, 8 receptions. I think it's been since Debo came back, he's been doing better, which is contrary to what at least I thought, but whatever. 9 targets, 8 receptions, 89 yards and a touchdown, 38.9 fantasy points. And this I did not see coming. Tommy DeVito has a decent game. Saquon Barkley, the number 1 scoring running back, only on 14 rushes and 4 receptions, which is a little surprising, but it definitely helps to have 2 receiving touchdowns. A total of 140 yards, 37.5 fantasy points, and I'm going to have to take a breath before this one. Calvin Ridley was the highest scoring wide receiver on the week. 9 targets, 7 receptions, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns. Thank you. It's been since week 1, Calvin. Why are you testing my soul like this? But 103 yards, 2 touchdowns, 36.35 fantasy points. I mean, I get it. It was a little bit of a down week, but he still was the highest scoring wide receiver, and I still love him. So let's move on and let's talk about the people that let us down a little bit. And it was a very big letdown for wide receivers this week. Hollywood Brown, again, this isn't a guy that was drafted super highly, but really what it came down for me was like Kyler was going to come back and it was going to be the Hollywood Brown show again. Like Hollywood was doing pretty well with Dobbs there. Dobbs. I don't know, whatever. But like he and Kyler had a real connection. They were doing really, really well last year. But 5 targets, 2 receptions for 18 yards and 4.45 points. Like that's 2 games in a row of like 4 or 5 points. And it's yeah, plural Roger out here saying the real question is how many people started Ridley? I mean, at least the Titans defense is bad. So you hope good people show out against bad defenses, and hopefully you start good people against bad defenses. I started him in a couple of actual leagues, in a couple of dynasty leagues. Sorry, SFB, I didn't mean to. But this is my only redraft. But I don't have Calvin Ridley there, so I couldn't have started him. So I almost put Jordan Addison on here, as you can see that I forgot to change the name. Jordan Addison, it was like 3 catches for 44 yards. I was like, yeah, okay. You know, Josh Dobbs, again, new to the system. He's been still showing pretty well, but it's his worst outing since Justin Jefferson went out. So it made me a little sad. But then I got to A.J. Brown, and I'm just like, never mind. We need to talk about A.J. Brown for a second. 4 targets, 1 reception for 8 yards, 1.8 fantasy points. Like, hey, Troy. Well, hey, Troy, see this later. So that's just like, and again, not Jordan Addison. AJ Brown was drafted early on for wide receiver. So you're not expecting, yes, and Pat Surtain is very, very, very good. Yeah, I know, Kurt, thank you for yet again pointing out my mess up that I was going to talk about Jordan Addison, but then AJ Brown felt more relevant here, and I just clearly forgot to change the name. I saw a J and I'm like, that's probably AJ Brown. So yeah, that's 1.8 fantasy points out of AJ Brown is rough, no matter what league you're looking at. And then Garrett Wilson, and you know, the Bills can decide to be really good on defense whenever they just sort of want to. And the real issue with this is it's not that he had a bad outing, but he had 8 targets, but only 2 receptions for 9 yards and lost fumble. So like it could have been a little better, and then silliness made it even worse. So like, yeah, I needed to get Garrett Wilson up there also. So, but like that was, and he's been doing pretty well, even though it's been Zach Wilson. This hurt because in regular needs, I think leagues, it was just 0.9 points. Let's talk about redemption. Christian McCaffrey. What a bum not scoring a touchdown last week. Finally, thank you, Christian McCaffrey. Like, you just super let us down last week, only scoring like 20-something. Actually, that's a lie. He scored more fantasy points last week and had a better statistical outing last week, but he didn't score a touchdown, so he just let us down. So, redemption for Christian McCaffrey, finding that end zone again. 21 rushes, only 5 receptions, which seems a little low. 102 yards, 1 touchdown, 31.55 fantasy points. Clearly joking about the redemption part, but not about Puka. And I mean, and it's unfortunate that also Kupp got hurt, but you know, we've seen Puka do well with Kupp there. So this really, I think, comes down to maybe that offense is starting to click better a little after Stafford missed some time. 7 targets is still pretty low, but 5 receptions for 70 yards and a touchdown is a week we wanted, a week we needed out of Puka after a couple of 21.95 fantasy points. And I know I usually try and find pictures of players with their helmets on, but I saw this picture and I'm just like, look at that flowing mane he has. I couldn't not use that, so I super went for it, and it's there. By the way, it's really, really hard to find pictures of Travis Kelce, George Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey with helmets on. I think they're just too pretty that people don't want pictures with their helmets on. All right, so now is our giveaway time. It's 1:10. So for the next 3 minutes, anyone who types the name TyJ into the comments will be entered to win. Again, I promise this is actually signed to Tyjae Spears jersey. Again, we're thinking towards next year. Last year we gave away the Mims. Last week we gave away the Mims jersey because he's gonna be a thing. He really, really is. And it seems like the Titans just don't care about Derrick Henry anymore. 11 touches, 10 touches, like they're just not giving the ball. In which case, man, Tyjae might be the guy. So we're getting ahead of the curve. We're getting out ahead, so you could be like, hey y'all, I got this Tyjae Spears signed jersey last year from Fantasy Cares because they're just so ahead of it. They're just that good that they know. And then, it's just about spreading the word, about spreading how awesome we are, because that's what we care. We just care that people know that we're awesome. Hey, Cole, it's been a while. Nice to see you back. Stop it, Bob. I almost actually typed your name. Oh, hey, Angie, back again. Look, I love that we're getting a couple of people that haven't been around for a little bit. Yeah, I missed you all. All right, it is 1 more minute left for the Tyjae Spears jersey. Just go in and type Tyjae. I was not going to take it easy on you to let you type Spears. It is a lot more fun to make sure you're typing Tyjae correctly. I think we all thought we got a steal on Derrick Henry this season, and it is not working out that way. But again, all that matters is you're going to get this Tyjae Spears jersey for next year. Hey, Gregel's showing up just in the nick of time. And you're going to have it. You're going to have it on your wall, and you're going to throw a Fantasy Cares or an SFB sticker right next to it. And it's just going to be like, hey, I got this for free. It's now worth thousands upon thousands of dollars because that's how good Tyjae Spears turned out to be. And I have Fantasy Cares to thank for that. And you know what? You're welcome. You're welcome. How is that not a minute? All right. Well, you know what? I am going to share the screen. And by then, all right, there you go. It's 1:13. So that is it, everybody. Thank you for joining in. Let me share the correct screen. Let's shuffle it up a bit. And good luck, everybody. Let's see who's going to win. Sorry, Legs. You missed it by seconds. Regional winners, I guess. The best way to win is to keep winning, is to have won in the past. How do you predict if someone's going to be a top 12 wide receiver? Well, if they've done it before, they're more likely to do it again. Are you going to win something on our show? Well, have you won before? Man, like we are just, I don't know. Actually, that's a lie. It's completely and utterly random. I mean, the other thing's a random number generator. This is literally a spinning wheel that I have no control over. But congratulations, Ryan. You are the proud winner of this soon-to-be just completely baller sign. I promise it's signed Tyjae Spears jersey. All right, let's move back on. Let me let's add you to stage. That's what I want to do. And let's talk about the top 12 scorers in SFB this week. And we had a couple of good ones. We had, Trevor Lawrence up top. Brock Purdy coming in with 38.92. That was a nice showing out of him. And then the reason, well, not really, 3 different people caught touchdowns, but still George Kittle up there, 38.9, just a little bit under his quarterback. Justin Herbert always hanging around that top 12, not too often. He did make it to the top once. 37.7, and then our running back one, Saquon Barkley, 37.5. Again, Josh Allen, 36.45, hanging around in that top 12 a lot, but not enough weeks of just being that number one guy. Then, of course, I drafted Patrick Mahomes with the 101 pick, and that's just same. And he's not even on this list now. But then we have Calvin Ridley, 36.35. Then we had a couple of wide receivers. Tank Dell is the real deal, man. I'm loving it. 35.9 fantasy points. Tyreek Hill, 35.6, and gave us a little scare with a little bit of an injury, but he came back. And then Lamar Jackson, who has been in the top 12 for a while, 34.51. Justin Fields, welcome back. Welcome back. 34.16 fantasy points. And then Sam Howell will not be taken out of the top 12. He is going to grasp and claw, and he made it. 32.65 fantasy points. Our top 5 running backs, because again, we only had one in the top 12. Saquon in at 1. Brian Robinson, 32.35, having a season for himself. The redeemed Christian McCaffrey, 31.55. Jaylen Warren, there you go. Welcome to the club, 30.75 fantasy points. And then Joe Mixon in with 29. All right, got to click on the right screen before I change the slides. And the playoffs are here. And I had nice, so again, like when I port this over into StreamYard, it ruins the GIF, but this was him. It has begun. The playoffs are here. 1,214 players clinched with 13 plus win, which is 73% of the people in the playoffs. 448 got in on points. This guy. 27%. The last player in, I scrolled down. I went to, by the way, if you want to see if you're in the playoffs here, let me stop that screen, present, share screen, scottfishbowl.com, share. All right, first and foremost, big donate button. That'll take you right over to fantasycares.org. Go donate. But over here, if you haven't signed up for SFB 14 yet, go do that now. Why wait? Don't wait. That's silly. But then let's go to the playoffs, round 1. Everyone listed here is in the playoffs. Everyone. You'll notice as you start scrolling down, and if you're like me, you'll get a little freaked out that these turned red. And I'm like, what does that mean? Why is that red? Because I already scrolled down, so I'm not going to scroll back up. Look, Dynasty Outhouse is right here in the playoffs in spot 1,272, which is in. And look, there's red, and there's a red negative number. What's going on? All that means is that's for next week. That's to see if you fit in to the requisite to move forward into round 2. So right now, the colors mean absolutely nothing. So don't worry about it. If you're on this list, you made it with this guy. Man, it's been like 3 years since I've made the playoffs, so this feels pretty good. All right, but let's go back to our slide. There it is. All right, so the last player in, I had to scroll down just to see who it was. Kevin Moody at Kevin Moody _ in the McAllister's Deli division. Had a 15-7 record. But I love, this just shows, the division matters, the schedule matters, and all of that stuff. 15-7, scoring 188.43 points per game. Average to get into the playoffs was around 208. And it didn't matter in the McAllister's Deli division. I mean, no offense to the people in the McAllister's Deli division. Ryan, 1645. Nice. You made it in. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter what number you were anymore. All that matters is you're there, and then anything can happen. The undefeateds, we still have some undefeateds. 4 left. Only one team got knocked out. And I wish I thought to actually look to see which team that was. And man, that is so small. We're not reading that. Hold on. Let me pull up my actual slides so I can see who these people are. So we have John Lee at John 4-88 from the Publix division, at the highest score, averaging 248.67 points per game. Aaron Knight at Aaron Knight 99, averaging from the Fanta division, averaging 247.06. Dynasty Warzone's Neil Gray at NRG 51628 from the Heineken division. We got a couple of drinks going on here, averaging 245.62. Thank you, Scott, always. Dan Hendry of Football Guys was the one that got knocked out. Sorry, Dan. You're still super awesome. You're just not super duper awesome. Sorry. And then Michael Young at myoung8815 from BJ's Restaurant and Brew House. I mean, that counts as a drink, right? So we got 2 beer related. We got Publix. We got actually, technically, 3 drink related, because I'm just going to stick with a brewery is for the beer. And then Publix up top. By the way, Michael Young, 241 points per game. Let's hopefully, since I'm not one of those four, let's hope they stop scoring so many points. But let's talk about this week's high scorers. Important nonsense is Steve Bonham at nonsense_Steve, 298.36. Stephen Holton at Steve Holt. Steve Isaac at Steve_Isaac, 295.89. Roto Grinders Christopher Prince at Beer Makers Fan. Cool, sure. 292.57. The Sports Affili. Mike Chiarachi. Sorry, man. 286.84. John Lee. There's John Lee. Dwayne Brown at Dwayne B13. 283.1. Jim Caruso at JCar Football. Ryan Rummel at R Rummel 90. And Adam Bergerson at AJ Berg 4 at 280.52. Congratulations to those people who put up them points this week. But more importantly, these divisions had 9 teams make the playoffs. Aldi, Giordano's, Gusto's, baby, and Sonic. Thank you for that, Scott. Again, let's talk about the season's high scorers. And again, copy and pasting is a terrible idea, but I'm super lazy and didn't feel like typing. Oh man, that might be too small even for me. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to go back to this leaderboard, and we're just going to go... So congratulations to Dan Wisner from Loretta's, Nate Christian from Trader Joe's, John Lee from Publix, Destination Devies, Jordan Richardson at Chaboy Rich from Firehouse Subs. There's Aaron Knight from Fanta. Triple Play Fantasies, Alex Mateo at Alex Mateo 94 from Pat's King of Steaks. Dynasty Warzone's Neil Gray from Heineken. RDT Podcast, Gina Noble at Noble G_FF from Smoothie King Division. Sideline Squibs, Andrew Lehigh at Do or Dynasty, sure. Oscar Meyer, BFTG Charities, Toilets to Titles, George Reed at George Reed FF from the Dole Whip Division. Hey, DAP Network, how's it going? In Fantasy Timeline, Joshua Valentine at Real Fantasy TL from the Snickers Division. And you know what? We're going to go 2 more just so we can get Michael on that list because he is undefeated. So we'll put him on here. But first, Doug Formaniac at Fresh525 from Piggly Wiggly. And I just wanted to get to say Piggly Wiggly. And then Michael Young at MYoung8815, another one of our undefeated teams from BJ's Restaurant and Brew House. Congratulations to all of you at just scoring a lot of points. I mean, that's what you did. You did good. So congrats on doing good. Now stop doing so good so I can actually win. As we check out for the day, quick reminder, we have our diabetes awareness giveaway for the month. This is ending this week, I believe. Yeah. We are giving... No, two Tuesdays, because this is ending at the last day of November. So this will at 30 days have September, April, June, and November. So this is we're going to stop taking donations for this on November 30th because it's for diabetes awareness. Every single penny that gets donated to this campaign, which is fantasycares.org/JDRF, is going to go straight to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Fund. Mark Andrews has type 1 diabetes, so we want other kids, teenagers, adult, well, I guess it said juvenile. I don't know where they cut off at juvenile, but improving lives, curing type 1 diabetes. Like that's what they're trying to do, trying to get other kids that have type 1 diabetes, maybe in the NFL. Like you're going to see that in like 5 years, a kid's going to make it into the NFL and they're going to have type 1 diabetes. And you're gonna be like, I donated. I was part of that. Don't you want to be part of that? Don't you want to be part of trying to win this beautiful Mark Andrews signed jersey? I think you do. So fantasycares.org/JDRF. Again, every single penny of the donations will go to the JDRF. And then this week's goodness giveaway. We're going big for the playoffs. We're giving away a Jamar Chase signed jersey. We promised Jamar Chase is good. I know his QB situation got a little iffy, but this is still Jamar Chase. J Chase, if you will, right over there on the number 1. He used to write a number 1, but I guess he got lazy. But fantasycares.org/GG, and your donation will get you entered to win this beautiful Ja'Marr Chase signed jersey, of which we will announce the winner on this show next week. Thank you, everybody, for hanging around, for playing along, watching along, talking along, all of those awesome stuff. We appreciate every one of you, even if you're not listening, and if you've never listened and never watched this, we appreciate you anyway. But that's it for this Tuesday. Thank you, everyone, for just being you, and see you next week.